Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. For anyone who's new here, my name's Maria and welcome to my YouTube channel where I make videos about art or life related things. Today I will be drawing some blueberries and I'll tell you all about my art related insecurities and struggles. I'm usually a bubbly, highly motivated and energetic person, especially from the time I wake up to around lunchtime, but sometimes I start feeling really insecure about my artwork and then I go down an emotional rabbit hole where I just start to feel like I'm stuck. Today I am going to be drawing some blueberries and I'll tell you all about my biggest art-related fears, insecurities, and struggles. You might be wondering why I chose to draw blueberries, and honestly, I don't really know. There were blueberries in my fridge at the time, so maybe that had something to do with it and they looked pretty good. But there was also lots of other food in my fridge, so I'm not really sure why I chose the blueberries. But I'll go ahead and tell you a story about why these blueberries matter to me. I started working on the blueberries almost immediately after I finished working on the worst painting of my entire life. I was trying to watercolor a grizzly bear, and it ended up looking like the worst grizzly bear imaginable. The grizzly bear looked really elderly and tired for some reason, and my colors just weren't blending properly. It's like everything that could have gone wrong with the grizzly bear was going wrong. As soon as I finished the watercolor, I tried to fix it by using Prismacolor pencils. And unfortunately, this just made everything worse because the Prismacolor pencils weren't blending properly. I know that this is going to sound totally overdramatic, but that painting really made me feel like I failed at life. And on top of that, I felt guilty and ridiculous for feeling so overly emotional about a painting. At that point, my feelings were spiraling and I felt so devastated that I never wanted to touch my art supplies again. It was late at night and it was almost bedtime and I was putting away my art supplies. And then I thought to myself, why is it that this painting is making me want to quit art? I didn't like feeling this way, so instead I took out my toned paper and my Prismacolor pencils, and I was determined to start something or anything to make me feel like I had redeemed myself a little bit. I wanted to be able to have something to show for my hours of work that wasn't just my crushed feelings and the bear painting that I hated. I'm a perfectionist, and about 99% of the time I have an idea in my mind about how I want a piece of art to look when it's done. I don't think I've ever been 100% happy with anything I've made. I was a little bit hesitant about sharing this story because it's a little bit embarrassing to admit that a failed art project can have such a toll on my emotions. But in case you've ever felt this way about your art, I just want to remind you that you're not alone. Even though I constantly struggle with not thinking that my work is good enough and critiquing myself immediately after I finish everything, I found that these feelings of animosity towards my work when it doesn't go as planned can creep up randomly. I know that sometimes people think that being a perfectionist is some kind of blessing because it helps drive your passion to improve, but I find that also it keeps me from either starting or finishing things a lot of the times. The night that I painted the grizzly bear, I had a strong urge to never ever touch my art supplies again. It was like my mind was in a really cloudy and negative space and I was so overwhelmed by disappointment in myself. It's like that bear had been some kind of ultimatum for never drawing again if I failed. And that's why no matter how tired I felt, I knew I had to overcome that feeling at that moment. I knew that I had to start working on something immediately or else I might never work on something again. And so that's how the blueberries happened. When I started working on the blueberries, I had no idea that I would be working on them for several days. The whole time I worked on the blueberries, I asked myself why I was working on the blueberries, because at the end of the work, at best, all I would have to show for it is just a picture of blueberries, and it would be nowhere near as beautiful as a picture of blueberries from the refrigerator or from the grocery store, and definitely nowhere near as tasty. So, what's the point of this, and why did I keep working on the blueberries? Honestly, I don't know, and I still haven't figured it out. But for some reason, I keep putting pencils and paintbrushes on paper trying to make something called art. Sometimes it's about enjoyment, and sometimes it feels like a compulsive need to make something that might be considered art. If you've got it all figured out on why you create art, and it's not for financial reasons, I would love to hear about that in the comments below. I found that emotional issues are harder to deal with than issues of art quality. I can improve the quality of my drawings and paintings by practicing, but sometimes I find it really hard to get out of the metaphorical dark cave where I feel like there's no point to working on my current projects and there's no point to starting new projects. I also struggle with feeling like an unskilled artist who's just wasting her time. Maybe it's because I don't dedicate the majority of my time to art things, at least at this point in my life, and my real job doesn't relate to art in any way. I have a really hard time considering myself an artist. Sometimes I feel guilty for drawing or painting what I see and calling it art because although I do it in my own style, and I apply my technical knowledge and experience to those drawings and paintings, my references were all made by nature, and nature as well as life deserves a credit, not me. I don't know if everyone goes through this wave of art imposter syndrome, but when things don't turn out perfectly with what I had in mind, that feeling gets very real for me. So what is it that keeps me going when I feel like I'm spiraling in my own art insecurities and wondering why I keep working on art projects? The quote, "Done is better than perfect," comes to mind. Whenever I find myself wanting to quit something just because it doesn't seem like it's going to be perfect, I have to remind myself that I could work on this project for a lifetime and it's never going to be perfect. So instead, the second best option is to settle for finishing it. While I was working on these blueberries, what kept me going was that I had set up an old phone to record, and my desk was a chaotic mess because I didn't want to accidentally shake the camera. I told myself that I wasn't allowed to clean my desk until I was done with the blueberries. At the same time, I wasn't really sure why I wanted to record the drawing of the blueberries, but I'm definitely glad that I did. I've noticed that when people look at art, they only see the finished product. They rarely see the number of hours and the work that it took with every pencil stroke that eventually made up the finished piece. Likewise, I know that it's really easy to scroll through Instagram and see art from people we admire and then start comparing ourselves to them and start feeling inadequate in our abilities. I'm definitely guilty of this. I know that my blueberries aren't perfect and there's so much room for improvement, and it's so easy for myself and especially anyone else to see these and wonder why they're special. They're just a mediocre drawing of blueberries, and you can just take a picture of blueberries, as I mentioned before, and it would be 100 times better than my drawing. But personally, seeing my process and watching myself progress through the drawing somehow made the drawing a bit more special, and it made me feel a little bit more proud of my work. I don't record my work often because my fear of accidentally moving the camera causes my work area to become really messy. But this whole experience taught me that it can be really helpful to record your progress. Even if you never share it with anyone, at least you will be able to show yourself that if you dedicate enough time, patience, and effort to your work, you're going to be able to create something truly unique. At the very least, if you're not amazed with your work, recording your progress will probably drive you to want to finish your work instead of just abandoning it, even if it starts to feel like your effort is kind of redundant. These blueberries helped me realize that art isn't just about the finished product, but it's about the process of getting there. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, and if you want to see more speed drawing or painting videos from me with random life stories or commentary, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you feel like you can relate to this, or if you found it helpful, or if you'd like to share what keeps you motivated, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. At the end of me compiling the speed drawing video and recording this, I finally hit 30 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who subscribed to my little channel. If you're interested in seeing more content like this, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and it would truly mean a lot to me. I hope that you're doing well and staying healthy, and that no matter where you are in your art journey, I hope that this video inspires you to push through any insecurities that you might have, and I hope that you'll continue to create art even when you go through seasons of not feeling like an artist. If you're feeling tired or overwhelmed, it's okay to take a break from art and then come back to it when you feel like it. But if you have a genuine enjoyment from making art, or you feel a compulsive need to keep making art, then I really hope that you'll come back to it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope that you have a great day and good luck with your art endeavors.